we talked for a little while about like medications and how somebody might use medications as a tool to help them, whether it be managing mental health or blood pressure or diabetes. But that's not a magic bullet, right? Like, that's not going to fix your problem. The problem's still there. Sometimes it just helps people digest the problem and able to function, right? When things are crippling, right? Like, people get crippling depression, crippling anxiety, and it can help you kind of function and get through that.
I think we're living in a world where instant gratification and immediate solution is what we're becoming designed to want that and need that.
A lot of people expect, like, oh, this pill is going to help me and I'm good. And then they get off the pill and they fall back again to the same dark hole that they were before, right?
And that's the exact understanding that most patients need to really kind of develop, is that anything that you want, you have to put work in for it. You still have to work on the underlying cause. It's about clearing your mind, kind of helping you achieve those goals, but you still need to put those footsteps down. Yeah. Otherwise, you're just going to end right back up in that chair.
Well, welcome everybody back to the Quiet Riot Show. Today's going to be a little different from last time.
Yeah.
So last two episodes, we had our wives on. And to offset that, we've added two... We've got a lot of testosterone in the room.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Now you have your lovers.
Yeah. That's how we wanted to do it. Wives first, then boyfriends.
Yeah.
I call dibs on Cam.
All right, I'll settle for Pat.
Yeah, there you go. We've had these guys on before.
Yes, I think this is our first follow-up episode.
It's our first follow-up episode. We say it like all the time. We should have you back in a year.
Yeah. Well, we usually say 6 months, and it's like, oh.
But we're actually doing it this time.
Yeah.
So we've got...
Men's Health Unscripted.
Yeah, Pat
gentlemen.
and Cam, introduce yourselves.
What's up?
Or don't. I don't give a shit.
Me and Patrick has been doing our Men's Health podcast for a while now. I'm Nuclear Cam. We're out here, spitting the good word on men's health, taking care of yourselves to help take care of your families and each other. And Pat is running himself the business side, really passing out a lot of good information to the community if everybody's been keeping tabs on what Pat's up to.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Our shows are focused on a lot of things that are connected. But and I think I maybe should have listened to the last episode before we did this, but I've never listened to a single episode we've ever done. So you guys, because you're both in the health field, maybe is the right way to put it, I don't know. Yep. You're pharmacists. Cam, you're a crazy pharmacist. I don't even know what the fuck you do. And
no one does.
So it's nice because you guys have a different take on everything, and your show has a little bit of a different approach than ours does. Like, we do open forum conversation about our feelings.
Yeah. And
you guys kind of take the other things involved in how that works and talk about that a lot.
Well, and I like that you guys have quite often you guys have some professionals and kind of talking to them about what their perspective, what they believe in, what they preach, right? And then it's nice to get that perspective for just regular Joes listening to your show. So I really like that, yeah, because sometimes there is a lot of that. We might be talking about feelings, but we don't know why we feel that way.
Yeah,
right.
We had a therapist on one time.
Yeah,
like a real licensed one. That was pretty special.
Yeah, that was pretty good. Yeah, and it was free.
And then we have two licensed pharmacists.
Yeah,
so that's pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely. So
we're killing it over here.
It all boils down to it's chemicals.
Yeah. It is.
It's chemicals your body makes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you feel super sad, you can just be like, "That's just my chemicals going nuts."
Yeah. Well,
it's not that easy. I know. But,
can I use that when I'm angry or sad at home?
Wait, question. Can I use it with my wife?
That's what I meant.
Okay.
Let's be honest. Theoretically, yes, you can, but she's not gonna let that shit slide.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, you make a valid point.
That's not gonna work.
Yeah.
Well, there goes that.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's all chemicals, and then sometimes drugs. And
fair.
Yeah.
That's life.
I saw you. I think it was you, Pat. You made a post the other day about how medications are just a part of what you encompass with what you do, or a part of, like, I think we all, and maybe I'm actually just projecting, but like pharmacists, there's like the stereotypes about pharmacy and medications and pills, all that stuff. You guys are well aware of it way more than I am. And so I like that you posted that, because you talk about, yes, sometimes this is a necessary part of all these other things to help everything work.
Right. So that was with, I'm going to give a quick shout out to my guys, Mind Muscle Pro. We've been working with them on and off like for years. They're great. They're a nonprofit here in the US, and they do online videos for like fitness and support groups and all that stuff. I'd be happy to get you guys in touch with them if you ever want to.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Talk to them.
Yeah.
They do a lot of crazy like mental health stuff, and they're out there finding all the alternative modalities, and it's pretty cool. So we talked for a little while about like medications and how somebody might use medications as a tool to help them, whether it be managing mental health or blood pressure or diabetes, whatever the case may be. And then, but that's not a magic bullet, right? Like, that's not going to fix your problem.
Yeah.
The problem's still there. Sometimes it just helps people digest the problem and able to function.
Yeah.
Right. When things are crippling, right? Like people get crippling depression, crippling anxiety, and it can help you kind of function and get through that. Right. So that was kind of what I was talking about with Mind Muscle Pro, because they got jumped on recently thinking like, oh, you're anti-medication and pharmacy and this drug saved my life. And like, there's a place for all of it.
Yeah.
Right. But it's, I think like in the States, there's an over-reliance, I think, on prescribing, or maybe that's like the quick answer, right? Like, oh, you have these 5 symptoms. You're depressed. Here's fucking Prozac.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's kind of the thing.
Well, I think we're living in a world where instant gratification and immediate solution is what we're becoming designed to want that and need that.
Yeah.
Not even need, but want that. And so in that sense, I could see how it would be a bigger challenge now than it would have been 60, 70 years ago or 50 years ago. Also, the same things weren't available. It was just everyone was doing liquid cocaine. But but it's different now. Like we want this like, oh, fix me now, fix me now, fix me now. And it's like, well, not everything is a fix me now. Like, I don't think mental health is ever a fix me now.
Well, and like I can just touch on it. Like recently I had a little breakdown, and so went to the doctor, and doctors right away, well, here's some serotonin booster, right? And now I accepted it a little bit easier this time because I've used them before, and I know they've helped me, and they're only meant to do a temporary fix. Like, it's not gonna make me feel good and then, oh, I'm healthy, I'm good to go now. So but with all that, it made me feel better, so I could clear my mind a little bit and actually go to therapy, go to physiotherapy, do some exercises, and like overall, like I'm doing a lot better now. I'm still taking those, but I'm about to run out, and I'm hoping to not take those anymore because I need to be able to fix myself by just exercising, clearing my mind, eating healthier, and things like that. So a lot of people expect, like, oh, this pill is going to help me and I'm good. And then they get off the pill and they fall back again to the same dark hole that they were before, right?
And that's the exact understanding that, like, most patients need to really kind of develop, is that anything that you want, you have to put work in for it. So whether it be for your mental health, you have to take the extra steps past seeing your doctor, past getting antidepressant, and then now you feel better for a little bit. You still have to work on the underlying cause.
Yep.
We see it currently, the weight loss stuff is a big thing. We've harped on it a few times, but like, you can use these injectables and these things to help you lose that weight. But again, that's not going to keep that weight off.
That's
so
right.
Once you stop taking it, you get it right back on. So it's really, as you kind of mentioned, it's about clearing your mind, kind of helping you achieve those goals, but you still need to put those footsteps down.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're just going to end right back up in that chair.
Well, and same thing with like the diet too. Like you can kind of, we did this reset where for 4 weeks we ate only meat, cheese, and eggs. So it's a very strong like carnivore diet basically, or hard keto, whatever you want to call it. And I dropped about 20 pounds in 4 weeks. But now if I was to finish that and go back to eating cheeseburgers and fries and like eating out all the time, those 20 pounds would come back right away. But instead of that, like I continued, and it's sort of a lifestyle. Like everyone says, well, it's not really a diet. Like, no, like I think any diet is a lifestyle. Like you learn to eat healthier and still treat yourself with junk food like we did.
Yeah, of course.
And but again, like if I do that once a month and order a shit ton of McDonald's while I'm drunk.
Fuck, we did do that.
Yeah, we did do that.
We
Yeah.
ate a lot of McDonald's.
And but you know, it felt great. And like, okay, I also I've been shitting my pants for 3 days after that. So I was like, I don't need to, like, oh my God, like I forgot how bad it is, you know? So like, it was kind of like a wake up call that I can treat myself if I want to, but I can actually eat healthier. And like, I've been doing that so far. So since February 1st, I'm like,
you're getting too thin.
Almost at 30, lost 35 pounds. And like, I have more energy. I have clearer mind. I'm back at work right now because I took some time off. But like, you know, there's some negativity that came back. But like now I'm working on like leaving that shit at work. I don't want to bring that home, and I don't want to be feeling shitty from the day. You know, like it was only 8 hours, and like I got to learn to put it behind me. And so it's a continual progress that I have to work on, right? You know, like with the diet, I got diagnosed with pre-diabetic, and so doctor right away, like, okay, well, here are some pills, right? Within a week, I stopped taking those pills because like my blood sugar level was perfect just by eating, you know, healthier stuff. Not eating
you gotta
bread.
watch out for that beatus, man.
Yeah.
That'll get you.
Well, exactly, right? Like that was kind of like a wake up call for me. I'm like, holy shit, like that's scary. And so
yeah, I actually I'm going to tell a funny story, and it's kind of relevant but kind of not, but I just have to say it. I think everybody's going to laugh. So I'm working at the pharmacy. Cam brought it up, the weight loss meds.
Yeah.
So my pharmacy does like a version of the weight loss meds. We do like sublingual.
The South Park episode about that shit is fucking hilarious, by the way.
So this guy calls our pharmacy. He's one of our frequent like doctors that prescribes to send us his patient. And he's like, man, I've been doing the injectables. Like this sublingual stuff ain't gonna work, but the FDA shutting down the injectables. So we're like, well, this is your only option, dude. We know it works. We have a bunch of patients on this stuff. Like, you're good. So he calls back yesterday, and I'm up there, and he's like, hey, I need a refill. Like, this is, you know, so he's already on refill 1. He goes, man, that stuff works. He said, I sprayed that terzipatide under my tongue, and the first day, I felt it all over my body. Which, I'm like, okay.
All right.
And
Cam shaking his head like, what the fuck is happening?
Right.
And then the medication grade cocaine, and he sprayed the wrong thing.
So then he goes, and he's like, I felt good, and then I stopped taking it. And we're like, okay. And then he's like, I started taking it again, and I lost 6 pounds. We're like, all right, cool, congrats. And like, he's on this story, and he's like, but when I upped that dose to 2 drops a day, that feeling came back. And he's just like, I just felt it.
Yeah.
And at this point, like my pharmacist's like face is gone, and I'm just like red laughing. I'm like, oh my God, I can't fucking. And so now we're calling it the terzipatide tingle up at the pharmacy. And I like looked at the other pharmacist. He's like compounding for 25 years. I'm like, have you ever heard of getting that feeling all over your body? And he's like, never. You just don't eat as much.
Yeah, no kidding.
So let's keep going on this a little bit. Like, this is a huge thing right now. All these, and I don't know the technical terms, glutide, something, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't matter. Whatever South Park taught me.
Tides. Yeah.
Whatever the Tides, South Park, and Jim Gaffigan's new special taught me. I guess it works. It obviously works.
100%.
What's the deal with it? Like, people listening might be wondering about it because we don't see pharmaceutical commercials here like you guys do down there. It's very, very different. But what is I'll pick your pharmacy brain for a minute. I don't want to talk about that the whole time, but what does it do and why does it work?
All right, so it's kind of a good thing you guys don't see the commercials, let's be honest, because they are spacey as hell anyway, so you won't learn anything good from them.
Just boner pills and side effects. That's all we get up here. We don't nothing much else.
So essentially, they're called GLP-1 agonists. So what it is, it's a molecule your body already creates naturally. It causes that sensation of fullness. Satiety is what it's technically called. So you don't eat as much. So all you're doing is basically adding more to that. You're replacing some of that into your body. So now you feel fuller and you eat less.
Okay.
Basically, the big like, counseling point here is like, if anybody does want to try it, like, you'll lose weight for sure. The number one thing is change your diet while you're on it. Like, use it as a tool. Because if you go back, like, Tommy was saying earlier, if I went back to eating shit, like, the rebound weight gain off this stuff is significant.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is, like, so they started with semaglutide, which, was like Ozempic, Wegovy.
Yeah.
And then they moved to tirzepatide, which is kind of like the second generation of it, which is like your Mounjaro and I'm drawing a blank right now. It doesn't matter. I'm not going to support them.
I've heard of those two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And so that second generation has some effect on like your blood sugar too. Like, it helps modulate your blood sugar. Then like Future Sight, they have retatrutide, which I only know this because I'm in compounding now, is like the next one that's coming. And that one's going to have, weight loss. It'll protect your muscle, and it'll also, help regulate your insulin. The big thing with like semaglutide and tirzepatide is that people they stop eating as much, right? So they're not getting enough protein. Number one, so you have to supplement with protein or just force yourself, right? You have to. Or else like you'll lose a lot of muscle. And like the studies have shown that you'll lose 2/3 of your muscle instead of 2/3 of fat.
That's fucking muscle.
Yeah.
You got to do protein. You have to exercise, resistance train. Like, I think they're great tools. Like, I was skeptical at first, but you're skeptical because of all the people that take it and then they do nothing.
Yeah.
And then they just get skinny fat.
Well, and I feel like would you feel
That's
like
America, baby.
and it's goddamn America, and we can do what we want. No, but would you feel like that is the majority of the cases? People aren't using it as an opportunity for a lifestyle change.
Actually, yes, unfortunately.
See,
the big thing to think about is like this stuff came out to help treat type 2 diabetes.
Yeah.
So like when this stuff hit out in the market, it was to help lower, keep your blood sugar low, because now you're not putting in that sugar to go into the blood.
Yeah.
So like ideally this was, for patients who were struggling with other methods to control it, needed something, a little push to help keep that sugar down. And then some of the side effects we're finding, they were losing, 10, 15%, body mass. So they were, let's start using this for some weight loss. And then, you get the first world involved who wants that easy pills we talked about earlier. They want to jump in.
Viagra effect.
Yeah.
Fucking yeah, I can shoot this thing to my stomach and then not have to worry about my fucking pants fitting tomorrow. It's a good fucking deal.
Yeah.
Until they, you get 1 million people on it, shortages happen, they can't keep up with supply, and now they're fucking losing their fucking mind and they think they're gonna die. And it's not. It's just you're now gonna pick up the fork again.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, well, and that's just it. Like, it's in the name, weight loss pill. Like, you're losing weight, but like, where are you losing it? I think that's the important part, right? Because like, I was 265, almost 270, and like, I don't care if I was to be 270 if it was all muscle, So
it wasn't.
No, I know it wasn't, but I'm just saying I wouldn't care about the weight necessarily.
Was that mean? Was that
No. That was hard truth. But yeah, no, it was fat. Like it was. So I'm dropping fat right now, and I know I'm doing that because I'm only eating protein and I'm eating like the good vegetables now, and like. Watching those videos that you sent me over about this reset, this doctor, like he literally describes like what eating meat does to your body, what you get from meat that you can't get from a plant-based diet, and then it also talked about like, there's vitamins in the plant-based diet that you get, and it's important as well, but like I'm shedding the good weight that I want to lose, not like you guys said that you have muscle loss. Like that sucks.
Well, I think there's always like point counterpoint with everything. Like you're doing keto, which I know is super effective, and it worked for me, and it's working for you. And my wife tried it for a month and just puked every day. So like, that wasn't the right
for her. Yeah.
Well, or the commitment wasn't. I don't know. I'm not here. She was last week.
Yeah.
but like, there's point counterpoint to everything.
Yeah.
So like, everything has an argument. The reality is like, what's making you healthier? Do that.
Yeah, exactly. Like it works for me. and I'm going to continue doing that. Yeah.
How's your dick situation? Working any better?
Oh, I know, but it's bigger for sure. It looks bigger. I lost all the fat around
He
it.
thinks it's bigger, but now he can just see it better.
Yeah,
So he's
yeah,
not
yeah.
seeing it. There's a lot
Did
more
you go
fat
see
there.
that guy they had on their show, Dr. Boner or whatever?
No, but that's amazing. I love that
Wait.
episode. Yeah,
Fucking Doc. He was the girthquake.
yeah,
It was crazy.
Yeah, that was so
that
funny.
episode was so good.
Yeah, that was one of the highlights of this podcast, to be honest with you. You guys are great, but sitting there talking to, like, what was he, is he a devil dog? No, you guys are devil dogs. He's a corpsman.
No, he was a corpsman.
Talking to a corpsman, he's like, I make dicks bigger! And you're just like, fuck yeah, you do.
and that's the one that has that cool clinic, right?
Yeah. Kinda.
Probably, because he's probably making a fortune.
Right?
It's that or it's in the back of a strip club.
But I mean,
don't know.
what I like, I there's two things I got from that episode: the big dicks, and then it's like, oh, in a waiting room, like you can actually have a drink. I'm like, man, that would be awesome. I'd go to the doctor more often.
I
Maybe.
wish that was everywhere. Everywhere should. I wish it was the 50s. All it is I just wish it was the 50s.
Yeah.
With today's music.
That's
So you
fucking
guys have been, to shift gears just a little bit.
Yeah.
Like you guys have sort of been on a bit of a break.
A little bit.
Does that make sense? Is that anything you want to talk about?
Yeah. So I took, Cam and I are a team, and I think both of us had a lot of changes with our career. I think that's fair to say.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
And, I think sometimes that, that pays the bills, right? Podcasting's fun, doesn't necessarily pay the bills.
Nope.
And then also just maybe navigating some changes as far as how the podcast is presented, right? I feel 15 to 20 minute episodes work better for our audience. If we can hit you hard with some facts and you go about your day. The other thing too is I think we got into the dating stuff because it just kind of started hitting us, and I think we were one of the few men's health podcasts out there, and that's cool and all, and it was good, and it built our audience and stuff, and I think our audience knows this. We want to talk about health and wellness, and maybe in even the time I've done this and the time I've been in pharmacy, my mind has changed on things.
Yep.
And so I think just kind of restructuring so it's more digestible for people. I felt like we kept getting asked the same questions and we were answering them in different ways, and it just maybe got a little bit redundant.
Yeah.
And there's this whole world out there of I like Eastern medicine versus Western medicine and biohacking, and I think people want to know about that stuff, and that's the stuff I'm exposed to every day. And I get questions about it all the time, and it is it's kind of men's health, right? There's this post today about methylene blue, and you hauled all the traditional pharmacists saying isn't that a IV for some heme disease or something? And then you have the other pharmacists it's an electron transport molecule, and it can help with cognitive issues. And then they're telling them to fuck off, and it's this. So it's kind of crazy because we're all pharmacists on a pharmacy page, arguing about methylene blue.
Yeah.
So I'm just maybe we can.
That's science, baby.
Yeah,
I guess it's what you're trying to prove. Each one of them is trying to prove their point. And
right, and there's kind of no point,
Yeah.
I mean,
So
do the methylene blue. Don't. I do it. My piss is blue every day.
really?
Yeah, my piss turns blue. I started trying it, and my girlfriend's got ADHD. She's loud and proud about it. Cam's probably heard it. She's a vegan with her ADHD. She tells everybody.
Gee, well, yeah, obviously.
Yeah. And she's vegan CrossFitter ADHDer. But she's hey, this has really helped me. Methylene blue's helped her manage her symptoms better, use less medication.
That's a win.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then can you say, all right, is this a benign thing or helpful thing or harmful thing? And everybody will kind of jump on it. But at the end of the day, it's helped her.
Yeah.
I think it's funny because my piss is blue.
That's why I want to try it. I don't even care about I'll do mushrooms for the cognitive benefit, but like that sounds fun. Blue piss?
Yeah. Blue snow. Oh my God.
The first time that would be pretty crazy.
There's a gambit of stuff out there. You could like just take yourself to a party and be prepared, get some beets to get some red in there. You can get some stuff to get all kinds of colors, get the rainbow going every day of the week.
It's like, I bet you
ideas now.
I'll bet you $10 if I drink this blue Gatorade, I'll piss blue. You can make good money.
Yeah, you could probably get all your friends with that. And don't even tell them. Just be like, I think I have this disease. I got something wrong.
Yeah.
Man, that's fucking funny.
If anything, you get them at least to look at your penis. You're like, yo, I need your help. I need to check this out. And then, after you get everybody you're like, yo, I made all you guys look at it.
That's a win in itself right there.
Exactly.
Well, for Cam, I guess. I don't know about me. But.
Oh, yeah. That's always a win.
100%, yeah.
So, okay, so you're kind of reformatting the way you do things on the show.
Yeah, something like that.
That's great. That's good.
I think just like both of us are trying to lock down our career. Cam's got some other stuff going on.
Yeah, what do you got going on, Cam?
Finally got the full team hired up, so we have now 4 pharmacists. The last one just started now, but again, it's still just 2 of us who can do everything in the pharmacy aspect. So for me, it's just like a lot of work, and the schedule's changing a lot because there's training going on for the other guys. So like this week, I'm working the overnight. So after the podcast, I'm going into work. And then I get to come home, 7 o'clock in the morning.
Shit.
So it puts a lot of crap into your scheduling. I'm getting married in June, so there's a lot of planning.
Nice.
And stuff
Fuck
involved
yeah,
like that.
Congrats.
Awesome. So the Quiet Riot show is going to a wedding.
There's a lot of planning that kind of goes into that.
Are we invited?
Honestly, to be honest, probably not. She'd probably be mad as hell at me.
That's fair. She'd be even more mad if we showed up afterwards.
Well, you should just show up anyways.
Well, afterwards probably be fine, but it's during it because, everything costs so much damn money, and every time you add, like, a person... it's plates, tables, napkins, and then it just...
That's why I had a small wedding. There was
like
38 people at my wedding. It was perfect.
No, we'll just show up at the ceremony. Don't do it, Cam!
I'm like, they're probably telling the truth.
Shit, those guys always tell the truth.
Like we've said it a few times on the show, the hard truth.
Yeah, the hard, yeah. Congrats on getting married.
Yeah, that's great. That's exciting.
Yeah. So I kind of wanted to touch on because our podcast kind of focuses on a lot of the I guess maybe the emotional part of
Keep going. I'm getting a refill.
Okay, how we're feeling, and I know Pat that you had to deal with a loss in your life just recently. And if you don't want to talk about it, you don't have to. But just wanted to kind of check in on you, like how you're doing. Because I know everyone deals with loss differently, and just want to make sure that you're good and keep going.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm doing better. Cam knows. And some people might feel like this is weird, and it's not. But I lost like my dog of 13 years.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, pets are part of your family. Like I was never that person. I never had a pet dog. I had a hamster and fish and a turtle that I never gave a shit about. But when you have like a dog that has emotions, or cats, or whatever it is. That's it can be tough.
I brought that dude everywhere, and like I brought him to places he shouldn't have been. Like he went to pharmacy school with us for a while.
Nice.
Like I would just, if there was a day where we were only in class for like an hour, I'd just bring that motherfucker.
Yeah.
Did his dog? Did your dog die?
Yeah.
Oh God, I'm so sorry, buddy.
Yeah.
Thank you, buddy.
That's shit. That's awful.
That it's just, man, it's funny. Like I would fucking Tommy gun like my whole fucking family. Right, if it kept him alive.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Like
they're so fucking loyal.
Yeah, it's unconditional love all the time. Yeah. It's and it's like the purest form of it.
Yeah.
And it's like the closest thing to like angelic. Like your day can suck. You can get kicked in the balls 100 times. You come home and that dude's like happy to see you. Yeah. They're just pumped. They don't even care.
Yeah. No,
they don't judge you, nothing, and it's just
even if they had a shit day.
Yeah,
Like, they just sit at home, miss you all fucking day, and then you get home and they're not even mad at you. Like, my dog was mad at me the other day, like legit mad at me. I went away for a week, and I haven't been away for a long time. Like, since I got him, I haven't been gone that long. I got home and like, and you know this, like, you know about this. I got home and like the first 30 seconds, he was just like beside himself excited. And then he was like, "Wait a minute, fuck you." And he was just like passive aggressively a dick to me for the next 24 hours. Like, he followed me around everywhere, but a little further away.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck you. I missed you. Like, I got shit I gotta do.
Yeah.
I'll close out on this because like it doesn't take me much to like, you know, get super emotional about it.
Of course.
Yeah.
It is one of the most beautiful experiences in life to like have that kind of relationship with anything. To where like, you know, there isn't a day that's gone by that I haven't thought about him.
Yep.
You know, they're just, it's not. And like, that's like, that was just my guy.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's as sad as it is, it's like an incredible experience to feel that way.
Yeah.
You know, just to love something that much.
Yeah.
And I'll end on that.
No, that's good. We can move on from that.
I just want to point out there's a joke, you know, like that proves your point that, you know, you lock up your wife and the dog in the trunk of the car for a week. When you open it after a week, you'll see who's going to be happy to see you and who's going to hate you for that, right? So. And we all know it's the dog, yeah.
All I would say is like
the sad truth.
I don't know if you've ever seen the movie A Dog's Purpose, but right now, don't fucking watch it.
No, I'm staying away from everything dog related.
Maybe don't ever watch it. I watched it and like, don't ever watch it. It's just
it sounds sad.
It's designed to make you so happy and so sad over and over again. They shot part of it in Winnipeg and like,
really? Okay.
and just outside of Winnipeg, yeah.
Oh, nice.
And like, so I watched it because I was like, oh, they filmed it here. I'll watch it. And then afterwards, I was like, you cocksucker, you fuckers! Like, how dare you do that to me?
Yeah.
So we'll move on from that, though. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate that, but we can move on.
People appreciate the fact that you're genuine and authentic. Just be yourself. Like, I complimented Justin Lamuda from Rainy Day Forge. He put his YouTube video out, and I've seen every other video he's done, but this one was different. And I reached out to him, and then when he answered, he said that he was just being himself.
Guys, listen up. You know what makes life better? Great knives. But not just any knives, custom knives. Need a knife that'll handle your outdoor adventures? Or a kitchen knife sharp enough to make you feel like a pro? Check out Rainy Day Forge. Crafted right here in Winnipeg. Get yours today at rainydayforge.ca.
It's captivating. Why? Because he's being himself. There we go.
This show is brought to you by our new sponsor, Stoke Screen Printing. Are you looking to make a statement with custom clothing? Stoke Screen Printing is Winnipeg's go-to print shop, and they will bring your vision to life. Whether you need bold screen printing or crisp digital prints or high-quality embroidery or even eye-catching stickers, they've got you covered. Their friendly, knowledgeable staff will walk you through the process and ensure top-tier results with great turnaround times. Now, whether you're looking for a single t-shirt or thousands of pieces for your band, business, or event, or even podcast, they will handle it all at fantastic prices. And then here's an added bonus. If you're a local Winnipeg band, you will get another 10% off from your order. If you're looking for quality, speed, and great service, contact Stoke Screen Printing today and stay stoked.
From their humble roots in kitchens and music venues all over Winnipeg, the creators of Intergalactic Sauces have turned their passion project into a line of must-have condiments for flavor and heat lovers everywhere. Getting their start selling tacos to hungry concert-goers at local underground music festivals, the Intergalactic crew has stayed true to its DIY rock and roll aesthetic. Every delicious bottle is a carefully designed collaboration with indie designers, printers, and a bit of inspiration from the cosmos. Whether it's a limited run or one of Intergalactic's core flavors, whether you want to add a bit of zip to a meal or blow your head off with heat, There's a sauce for everyone. Go to intergalacticsauces.com and get your sauce today.
Are you guys still involved with the wrestling?
Hell yeah.
Yeah. That's you guys keep bugging all the tough guys with their prostates. Hey, come check your prostate out here, or?
Yeah, we actually, hold on one second. I'll be right back. We won an award.
Oh, okay. Let's see.
It's going to be good.
I know. I can't wait.
Important.
Oh, shit. Look at that.
Back.
Oh,
That's awesome.
of course, it's in the office on the shelf. Nice. Oh, look at that. That is amazing.
And that thing's not light. That thing is not
strap
plastic.
on
It's
over here.
What?
Wait,
What's the award? What did you guys win?
The number one men's health podcast
Oh, that's your fucking logo.
That
in
is
all of pro
awesome.
wrestling.
Wow.
That's awesome.
You know?
Why the fuck don't we have one of those? We haven't been doing it long enough.
Yeah, we're gonna have to go
You gotta do
take
the
theirs.
wrestling.
Find one of those really specific categories.
The two of us are gonna have to fight the two of
Yeah,
them
we're gonna have to fight you guys.
for the title.
No, the wrestling community here has been very good to us.
No, that's good.
So-
That's good. Yeah.
You know, I know you guys had like your stuff with it. If
We
you
had
can get back
something-
involved, do it.
We
Like,
had something.
It's awesome.
We had something that was starting to become a really good thing, and then the organization just fell apart.
Yeah,
Let's just call it that.
unfortunately,
And
yeah.
So, very unfortunately, but I don't think we're over those days. There's other organizations here that do it, and
Yeah, there's different opportunities. We do have a plan that we don't have much details on, or the details we have we can't share yet. But we're going to be doing a big event for November, and it will include. No, I'm not even going to say what it will include because it's still a secret.
I don't even know what it is.
Yeah, you do, but you
I
just
don't
can't
listen
remember
when he talks
But
to me.
anyways, it's gonna be a big event here in Winnipeg, and I think it's gonna be advertised across Manitoba, which is our province, and a Canadian institution will be involved with it. So we hopefully get some traction with that. There's still some work to be worked out in the background, but soon we're going to start organizing that. So I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be a big opportunity for us to share our podcast and just be involved with the community a little more. And I think that's our plan, is this summer to hit up some markets, you know, and just kind of really get out there in the community and just kind of talk about, hey, like, it's okay to feel shitty and open up.
And so maybe you guys can give some feedback. Like, we've been doing this. It's been probably a year since we did a show together. It's one of those things where, like, and maybe you guys have had the same experience, but like, everyone we talk to that listens to our show has nothing but good to say about it. And then it's like this frustrating point where it's like, well, why the fuck aren't more people listening to our show?
Yeah.
It's all marketing, baby.
It's just all marketing. I know, and
It's 100% marketing.
I'm a fucking marketing guy.
Yeah,
so
but
like,
you don't do anything here.
I should do more work on it, and I just don't have the time. But that's all it is. Like, it's just we don't get bad reviews.
No.
Like, from people that hear it or listen to it, or
Yeah, you guys have 5-star. Last time I looked at it, you guys had all 5-star reviews.
Yeah.
all three of them probably. I don't know.
It didn't say how many, but you got you're 5 out of 5.
Yeah, perfect. That's great. That's a huge win. And like, you guys probably have the same thing where it's like, building a listenership, you have to keep delivering the same level of product, but like, it hits a point where you get your product dialed in and you're like, okay, I did the thing. And then it's like, oh fuck, there's the whole other thing of like, I got to get people to listen to this. Like, I got to find ways for people to get access.
Right. You know, I think what you guys are doing is great with wrestling. You know, partly for me is I'm not super worried about, like, I'm going to just use a name, and it's just a name just for dramatic effect. But I don't care about being like fucking Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Neither do we.
I think it's more about, you know, finding the people who resonate with like what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'll say this, I'm going to attack wrestling fans right now. Like, don't, you know, fucking hold up and wait before you like listen to guys like us and guys like them. Like, you know, we had to do, we did Pride of Wrestling a lot, and then we did some other ones.
Yeah.
It took Pride of Wrestling, like the the company embraced us. They're awesome. Like the wrestlers embraced us and the company, and they loved us. And like we've had the wrestlers on the podcast and they're great. What it takes a minute for is like wrestling fans are very skeptical people.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily the healthiest group.
It's okay.
You know, like I'm sitting at a show with Cam and this guy's got oxygen in his nose and he's falling asleep with his mouth open and Cam's like elbowing me. He's like, do you think that guy knows that the oxygen only works when you breathe through your nose? But yeah, so we're like, you know, but it took a while to like assimilate into the community and show them like, hey dude, we're fans like you. We're not here to take from you or, you know, try to sell you something. You know, just listen to the podcast and, you know, do something like if you have a merch table, get a cheap table and have somebody go through it in the show.
Yeah.
I mean, we did that and it was awesome.
That's
and I think a lot of people were like, holy shit. Like, you know, they were surprised that we kind of like became part of the show. I don't know if that's the right wording for it, but you know, no one knew that our table was going to get smashed that day except for me and Cam.
Yeah. That's a cool idea. That's a really good idea.
You know, and I think I told my girlfriend like 5 minutes before that she was like, why do you have this? Why are they bringing you a table? She's not a wrestling fan. She didn't, you know, she was like, why aren't you bringing your table? She's asking me a bunch of questions.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh no, they have one for us. Like they let us get one. And she's like, oh, okay.
That's so weird, yeah.
You know, set it up, and I was like, "Hey, don't press too hard on it." You know what I mean? I'm like, "What's going on? What's going on?"
That's funny.
And then like later in the show, I was like, the Gifted came out. Those are our boys, and I was like, "Oh, by the way, somebody in this match is probably going to go through my table, so please record it." And she's like, "What?"
That's awesome.
No, that's
I love that. That's great, though. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like I was telling like a bunch of people I knew, I didn't tell like, hey, our table's gonna get fucked up.
Yeah.
But I was just like, hey, like you guys should really come to the show.
Yeah.
It'll be the most fun thing ever. It'll cost you $10. You have
well, and I think
$1 hot dogs.
That's awesome. Oh man, we don't do that here.
No.
Costco maybe, but that's it.
IKEA.
I think it's a good reminder of like we just need to be involved in a community.
Yeah.
So it doesn't, if it's wrestling or multiple communities. Like if it's wrestling, great. If it's music, like look at the things that we're interested in that have tight communities. Like wrestling, music. I don't know what else.
Yeah,
you gotta make it fun.
I'm too old to figure out what.
No, there's sporting events, but no, there's.
I like golfing. We could do something with golf.
Yeah, Cam and I went to Talladega.
Oh, really? How was
we
it?
recorded a pod there.
Oh, the car community?
There. Yeah.
Yeah. But like, you got to find people that you like, because it has to be enjoyable, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
You know, like this weekend, I'm doing some cross promotion with my pharmacy. There's the Florida Freestyle event. Cam went the first year. Totally different experience, by the way. Now, and so it's like a friend of mine that started this like car show kind of thing, and like she got girls to, you know, take pictures with the cars.
Sounds
with
awful.
or without clothes, I guess. It's not awful. The first year it was awful. It was not a great group.
Okay.
I hope you guys aren't listening. If you are, sorry.
Definitely like the C or D team.
But it's grown.
It was like Tommy in a bikini taking car photos.
I was actually gonna say, like, for 2026 we're making a calendar.
Which month do you want, guys?
Yeah, we're gonna need volunteers.
Yeah. Whatever month you're willing to give me.
I think we should take April, you know, testicular cancer.
Yeah.
Maybe winter. Things get a little small in winter. It's cold.
Yeah. No, that's me.
We got to go see. Oh yeah, that's
my
your
spot.
month. Yeah, you get January.
Yeah. It'll be zoomed in picture.
Yeah. But you know, doing that, we're sponsoring the water slide. It's called Aquafest.
Okay.
And there's wet t-shirt contests at the end of the day. So
there will be men there.
Well, you know, and I thought of it like we are a men's mental health podcast, and we although we do have serious conversations, we do fuck around a lot. Like we joke about certain things, which for me and Tim, and obviously you guys too, like you guys we all have good sense of humor, and we take it really well. And I think we need to, as he puts on his shoulder the
this thing's
belt.
got some girth to it, man.
But like I loved watching the Man Show. And as maybe some people or some women might find it offensive, how it was. That it had some funny skits and some funny parts to it, right? And I think we can't forget about also having some fun. So we need to find some fun events and opportunities for us to kind of promote our podcast a little more.
Well, and I think like to me, there's so much about what just who I am, and so I bring that to the show every time, and it's like, yeah, I can talk about something super dark, and one of my best coping mechanisms is also making incredibly dark jokes and humor about it. And I think that's most men, or a lot of them.
Yeah.
And so like one of the ways we all cope as men is by making super inappropriate jokes about the thing that's destroying us inside.
Yeah, 100%.
And like it helps. Like it does help. Like, I've probably made some of my funniest jokes at the worst times of my life.
Yeah. Oh, yes, you did.
Oh, my old podcast.
Yes, you did.
No, for sure I did. And so, like, I don't think that's an unhealthy mechanism. I think it's actually really good. Like, laugh. Fucking laugh.
Yeah.
And if you can't laugh at yourself, if you can't laugh at your situation, like, just take the 10,000 foot view of what you're going through and, like, find something fucking funny to laugh about at it.
Absolutely.
Like, there's got to be something funny about it.
Yeah, and it's also like a double-edged sword, though, because you want to find that community. The problem is you still got to spark those conversations, get that involvement. And of course, being guys, we all know how we are. We don't want to talk about this kind of stuff. So especially if you're putting yourself in this community and you have a product such as your podcast, they always think you're trying to get something. So now you're like, no, I just kind of want to touch and talk about things, touch base here. And they're like, get the fuck out of here. But, we got lucky with Pride of Wrestling. The guys were like immediately on board. They wanted to, be on the podcast to talk about some of their struggles, even getting out to the point where, Andy sitting on here willing to talk about his problems as well. Just something that dear to some people. You just got to find the right people.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. We got to find our group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So. And sometimes it takes time, and like you'll find the group and you'll be embraced heavily. I think it's just, I think it's important too for actually I have a question for you. I'm going to just change direction because this has to go into what I'm talking about.
Love it.
Now in the US, I don't know Canada, the big issue here is a lot of young men. So now we're, not talking about old geezers like us, but the young guys that are coming up, 16 to maybe 25, they're feeling incredibly left out of society.
100%.
Right? They don't feel like they belong in college. They don't feel like they belong in trade school. It's increasingly difficult to meet, in their minds, right? Like it's increasingly difficult to meet a quality woman. I had a therapist tell me one time, your problem with women is you. It's like your choices, not them. So sometimes that's a little bit of it. But like, why do you guys think that guys feel so left out in the world?
I think
with women, with jobs, with school, with anything that makes you, considered productive.
I think that like there's been a huge cultural shift over the last 10 to 15 years. Where there was a lot, so 15 years plus ago, there was definitely a sense of like, there was a bit of a sense of toxic masculinity in the world. And unfortunately, we threw the baby out with the bathwater when we attacked masculinity like it was all bad. And so I think unfortunately what happened is like, healthy, productive, really good, contributive masculinity took a hit because of the shitty ones. And so it's like the one bad apple thing. And so how many more fucking cheesy phrases can I use in this,
I don't know,
in this thing?
You're so cliche today.
So, no, but I think that's true. I think that like masculinity needed an adjustment, and I think it had to swing or had
A
to.
little bit.
It did swing too far in one direction, and I think we're in the middle of that return back to balance, hopefully, at some point right now. And so I think society made too much of an aggressive move to destroy masculinity, forgetting that there's such a beautiful part of it that is healthy and good for women and good for men and good for career and good for industry and society. And I think we've just forgotten that a little too much. I mean, it's time to bring back the good parts, and we can be done with the bad parts, no problem.
Yeah.
None of the good masculinity or males like those bad parts anyways. We always hated it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Does that make sense to you? I don't know. What's your comments on that?
Can we freeze?
Are we good?
Oh, I know. I think you guys may have frozen. I don't know. Am I coming in fine?
You're good now.
Yeah, you're fine as fuck.
Yeah, you are. I wish you weren't engaged.
All right, good. Okay. Yeah. It was doing some weird stuff. But no, I agree. We definitely kind of swung past the wrong way. We talked about how we all kind of wish it was like the 50s again. You know, that's when you look at it at the surface level, we think of that kind of masculinity, and that's kind of what we want. We're like, you know, we're going to work, you have a respectable job, you're taking care of your family, you're doing that stuff, you're getting cocaine in your sodas. But then, like, you come back around, and there's always that dark secretive side, you know, the domestic abuse and things like that were happening, the distance with the father and children relationships and stuff like that. But there's a lot of factors that play in that kind of stuff. Now, obviously, nobody wants to bring that part back, but like that masculinity that kind of supported up the family as the father being, you know, the man doing the harder work, doing the difficult jobs so they can have an easier life. You know, I think I've said it a few times, but that old cheesy saying that, you know, like, what is it, like, hard times breed smart men breed good times breed weak men, something like that.
Okay.
And weak men breed hard times. It's like a cycle kind of thing. And yeah, we're hopefully getting back towards that point where it's going to swing for the better option, the better way. I don't think it's going to hit a medium. I think it's going to go like excessively, but I fear it might not swing enough. Because Pat was asking, you know, why young people feel like they can't find where they belong. But my question always is, like, why do you have to belong? Like, I feel, you know, being America, we're Americans, you know, we're a little, aggressive about a lot of things, but like, blaze your own trail. Like, Pat does all this stuff on his own. Like, Pat's entire business model is not heard of. When he has to explain that to people, it's very complicated, and he still gets a lot of friction with other providers and professionals because no one can understand where that fits in. But you've got to make your own thing. And yeah, we're social. We want to be a part of a herd. You know, we have that desire, that mentality. But you also just can't follow that herd off the cliff. You know, as the old, like, what is it, the elephant and dodo models.
Yeah. I think there's a sense of, I think the last 10 years has instilled an unfortunate sense of fear in men to be men. And so...
You're wrong, brother. You said it on me, brother.
No, I might regret saying that, but like, that's true. No, that is just truth. And like, the problem is it has scared good men. And so it scared off bad men, which I think is a good thing. I'm a huge supporter of that.
Yeah.
In fact, nobody hates shitty men more than good men.
Oh, 100%. Like, you're making us look shitty.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
and so I think in that it has also scared off good men. And so I think that the young generation doesn't have that. They don't have a guiding light that they trust and feel comfortable following in their masculinity. Like, they just don't have that. There is no guiding light. There is no path. It changes all the time. And they just grew up in a super vulnerable age, like teenagers, which are already have a hard enough time adjusting to the world, where like they're hearing things that they take dramatically, like, you're not accepted, down with the patriarchy, blah, 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 like all this stuff. And like, if that's what's jammed in your brain during these incredible times of your life where like you're developing who you might be for the rest of your life, that's hard to manage.
Me gotta tell him, like, hey man, sometimes that patriarchy is pretty cool.
It can be done responsibly, and it can be done with kindness and love. I gotta say this because, like, I don't want to be misunderstood, but, like, again, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Like, there is good men, and there is things that men do very well that contribute. Just different than there's good women. There's
that do
amazing
way
women,
better than,
and there's awful women.
Yeah.
And, like, I want my daughter and my wife to be amazing women, and if I'm a good man, they'll be great women.
Yeah, and you know what? Part of it also, like, I wanted to say that I think it's also today's, like, social media. It's I think it's so bad for young kids because, you know, what's trending nowadays? It's stupid shit that really doesn't make any sense. And for example, I went on a deep dive a little bit on this whatever podcast, and, like, they're talking a lot about, like, what women want from men. Like, well, so women want to be independent, but they want men to open the doors for them, pay for their first date, and all these things, you know.
Chivalry and independence.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, and then now if sometimes these young men, and, like, okay, if you're trying to be nice and pay for the dinner and everything, and they might take it, the women might take it like, well, no, I can pay for myself, so now they're almost getting, like, these mixed messages, like, oh, you need to be polite, but you also need to be
sensitive.
Yeah, exactly. And so I think there's lots of mixed messages on social media and what's being projected to these young men, and you know,
for sure,
not like, I'm trying to, like, from day one with my son, I always said, like, you know, when he was fighting with his sister, and his sister's older, but, you know, she would say stop it, and he would just keep going. I'm like, dude, when a girl says stop, you need to stop. Like you always trying to teach him, like, these valuable lessons that you need to be polite, you need to be honest, you never hurt a woman, never hurt a girl, you know,
it's
like
traditional values.
Yeah, and I think not necessarily a lot of people maybe believe in that or pass it on to young men, or
True.
if they do, young kids are more glued onto their social medias, and they just see the stupid shit that's being promoted by certain people.
Well, and they take it in 30 seconds at a time. And,
exactly.
Like, 30 seconds doesn't teach you life lessons.
It's no other than, like, young women see these models on the front pages that are, like, photoshopped, and, like, everyone's beautiful, and they think that that's the perfect body, and now they're going to be anorexic or whatever.
Well,
like, just
OnlyFans isn't an honorable career.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. Yeah. So
I'm not saying it doesn't make money. It just
right. Just because, you know, like, the other thing is, like, just because these stripper, you know, pose nude or something, like, doesn't make them bad people.
No, not at all. That's not what I'm saying.
You know, I think, like, that's, you know, the internet's a crazy place because, like. Mm-hmm. You know, you have people who are, like, sitting behind a screen saying things that they would never say to somebody's face, right?
Of course.
Yeah.
But the other thing too is, like, look how many cheap dopamine sources that we have now. That I mean, right? I was born in '87.
I'm 83.
85.
Right. Cam's a baby out of this group.
Cam's like 96, bitch.
No, 91. I'm not that young.
91? I thought you were at least 89. Okay.
No, my knees are probably older than all you guys, though.
But, like, look how much, like, you know, when we were kids, there wasn't that much cheap dopamine. Like, you had to go outside and play sports and make a basket and, like, you know, meet people and
eat worms.
You know, I did this interview, like, a little while back, and, like, I missed the dating app kind of phase where, like, when Tinder was getting hot, like, I was in, like, a 3 or 4 year long relationship, and then I got out of it, and Tinder was already, like, controlled by bots, and then, you know, I never really did it, and I didn't understand it, and I was always like, you know, go out to the bar and, like, I don't know, do something crazy, like go talk to the girl,
actually meet somebody,
and, like, you know, make jokes and whatever. But it's like all these, like, I've, you know, been feeding, like, I've been doing some interviews and stuff, like, for a friend of mine who runs, like, a social media thing, and just helping her out. And, you know, they're all everybody's asking, like, what was it, like, dating apps and, like, fatigue and all this stuff. And it's like, dude, you have a million choices. You're like, and then they message you, and the dopamine's going crazy.
Yeah.
right? And it's like
Yeah.
all of these like really cheap instant sources, and there's like no chase anymore. And you have to think that like as men, like we go out and we make money and we work. But if you're a kid and like you're getting all these dopamine sources, like it diminishes the dopamine. So the chase to go make money or to go provide for your family or meet a girl, right? Whatever. The chase of all of those things is so diminished that I wonder if, it's not the whole reason, part of the reason why boys and kids are left out, because they've just been so depleted for so long.
I think
of what it is to be a man. Like we chase.
I think porn.
We hunt.
I think porn has been a huge problem for that.
Bring that up too.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm a huge advocate of like porn is awful.
Oh God, yeah.
For your like for male female relationships, porn is a nightmare.
Well, it creates this idea.
And young men. We're talking about young men.
Yeah, you mean the UPS driver isn't going to come and drop off a package and get his dick sucked?
Right? Like,
no, but but like in these years where young men are so like they're open books to learning about being a young man. They're just hitting puberty and they're like experiencing these things. Yeah. And like porn is just everywhere.
Yeah, like my porn was the Sears catalog of the bras.
They don't know what Sears is, but
yeah, it's like,
we do. Sears is. Come on, man.
I don't know.
It's just a border, right? We're not disconnected from a sea.
It's a border.
But and then, or like there was, one of the guys snatched his dad's videotape and you made copies, but you watched the same thing over and over, and like
and it wasn't frequent, and
exactly, it was once in a while, and now like it's so easily accessible.
So you talk about dopamine hits, it's like I think porn's the worst. Because any dude, young people aren't having sex anymore. I don't know. I don't have the stats in front of me, but it's crazy how many young people at between 25 and 35 years old are still virgins. Like they're just not.
Yeah.
They're not doing it. And like, man, can you imagine a guy who's been watching porn for 10 years and then tries to have sex with a girl? Like, dude, she's going to be super disappointed. Yeah. And B, like, some of that's problematic.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and you guys had a really good episode on that topic. This was a while back. I'm sure you guys have done more on that. Bill.
Cool Ranch Bill.
That's right. Yeah. Like that was a really good episode, and it's so true. Like how that affects your individual life and your relationship as well. 100%. Yeah.
Well, it poisons your brain.
It does. Yeah.
Listen, I'm not saying for single guys. Half an hour, 20 minutes on Pornhub to get one out is a bad thing. Like, that's not what I'm saying. But
20 minutes.
It very quickly becomes, or 30 seconds in Tommy's case.
You just fast forward to
we're just fast forwarding to the end.
No, you're spending like 19 and a half minutes finding that video.
Thank you, Cam.
Yeah, okay.
Got to be the right one.
Yeah. And so, like, that's a problem.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
I'm not saying it's not. It's fine until it's not.
Yeah.
Like anything else, but like I think that's one of the worst.
And I think a lot of people don't look at porn addiction as addiction, which it clearly is.
Also, kids don't drink anymore.
No, they do drugs.
Have you seen booze stats? Booze sales stats? It's shocking.
In Canada, Tim's still leading in purchasing and consuming alcohol.
I'm still in the top 10. But
he's keeping the millennials.
You said the bar way too high.
Propping us up.
I'm an old millennial, but yes. But like, no, but booze stats, what it goes back to is like what you said, Pat, like, people aren't going to the bar and meeting people anymore.
And if they do, oh my God, and I think I told you this, but I went with a friend of mine who's 10 years older than I am. We went to this one pub, and during the day, it's like the King said, like, it's amazing. Like, you go there, you see, like, people our age, and by 9-10 o'clock, all our guys
kids
leave, and it's like, I'm like, Jesus Christ, are you even 18? And so anyway, so we were at this pub, and then we were drinking and like start to feel really uncomfortable. So by 11 o'clock, we're like, okay, or 11:30, we got to get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
So I went to the washroom. It was the weirdest thing. I've never, ever, ever seen this in my life.
What, a glory hole?
No. This was I've seen those. I've tried them and used them. No, but I walked into the men's washroom and it was full of young guys and they're just shooting the shit there. I was like, me and this other guy my age, we're just
hanging out.
Yeah, and me and this other guy, we looked at each other. We're like, what the fuck is going on here? You know, like they're just hanging out in the washroom. Like, guys, if you pissed already, get the fuck out of here. So right away, at least 10 guys walked out, and finally we could go take a piss. Like it was just.
Well, you know, they might have been powder in their nose. Who knows?
Yeah, that could also be. That's a pretty common.
That could be, but it was.
That's for sure.
Yeah, but it's just like I don't know. I've never seen that. Like I remember going to the guys' washrooms and I never had a lineup or anything.
Yeah,
like I've seen lineup at
now the guys gather in the bathrooms and the girls are out doing whatever.
And it's just like it was just so weird. And like you mentioned, like now guys probably don't even go and talk to girls anymore, or they don't know how. Yeah,
and I've said this to my wife before. Like if I was a young single guy and had to go meet a girl now, I'd be terrified. To go home to have an intimate moment with a girl now, it's like how many I need 2 lawyers and $3,000 before I pull my dick out. Like
exactly. Yeah, for sure.
You got to sign like 4 releases, and they need to be notarized every single one before you even touch that zipper.
Yeah. Like
you consent? Are you sure you consent?
I mean, that's a dramatic way to put it, but like that's what I mean when I talk about we've just gone a little too far in one direction. It's just, and I'm not saying eliminating the bad men is bad because it is. It's a good thing. Yeah. But like, man, it's making it tough for good ones.
For sure. 100%.
Okay, we've been all over the map.
Yeah, we have. I think we can wrap it up.
Dude, I think we hit every struggle every dude has ever had, ever.
I think so, yeah. It was a good one.
If they can follow, they'll enjoy this.
Yeah, you can rewatch it multiple times. Pause, and
let's take a quick break. Or I guess we're done. Are we ending the show?
I think we can.
Wait, hold on. I'm going to do you guys' job for you. Like, subscribe, review, Quiet Riot Podcast.
Fuck. Done.
Yeah, now we're done. Yeah.
See you guys later. Thanks.
No, but just that. Thanks, guys, for joining us.
Can't you let me end the show?
No, because you don't know. I really appreciate you guys hanging out.
Shit.
See, I'm gonna have to cut it out now. He's just doing this to piss me off. No, but I really appreciate you guys joining us again, and I really hope that one day we get to actually meet in person and hang out at some point. It would be really cool to do like an event. But yeah, also follow the Men's Health Unscripted podcast, and just now you can end it.
Okay, perfect. That's good.
Okay.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of The Quiet Riot Show. We want to give a big shout out to our sponsors for making this show possible. And of course, thank you, our amazing listeners, for your support. Be sure to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. We're at Quiet Riot Show on all platforms. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, where you can watch full episodes of the podcast. If you're enjoying the show, please rate and review us wherever you're listening. It really helps us grow and reach more listeners like you. We'd also love to hear from you. Have questions, suggestions, or thoughts about the show? Drop us an email at quietriot@gmail.com. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you next time on The Quiet Riot Show.